1.8 million Floridians under a mandatory evacuation today due to Hurricane Irma. Good evening and welcome into this Friday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Tevin Wooten.
And I'm student meteorologist Sydney Welch. That's right, this Category 4 storm is headed in the direction of Florida and is intended to be a Category 5 storm by landfall in South Florida.
The storm packing 155-mile-an-hour winds, forcing every public school across the state of Florida, including universities, to close Monday as well as today, that by issuance of Florida Governor Rick Scott. And we know that that is not only likely for today and Monday, but probably into Tuesday as well for many parts of the state.
Yes, it most definitely could be into the rest of the week for lots of the state. Islands that have already been affected by Irma now are facing mass destruction. Almost 95% of some islands are in chaos because of this destruction.
Nearly 24 confirmed deaths by the storms, and evacuations are underway for the entire state, causing traffic to back up along I-75 and 95 in South Florida and Central Florida, and I-10 as well here in North Florida. And with that I-10, we're going to take a look at the local forecast for many of the people heading up this way right now.
All right, guys, we are looking at our local forecast because things are changing. We'll give you an overview of what we'll be talking about on today's show. One of the things we wanted to start off with, try to keep it a little bit more conventional here for now. Our temperatures for today, 87 degrees, and this is something that it's going to be warm next week too. And if the power does go out, be ready for those warm temperatures to persist. Satellite and radar right now, very much clear. This is the calm before the storm, a wedge of dry air kind of pushing into our region. So we're not seeing any sort of rain or showers across the Big Bend right now, but that will change. Tonight, though, 69 degrees, another mildly cool night, so chilly in some parts of town, farther out of town, rather. Clear, east-northeast at 10. Those winds will start to slowly pick up. And on tonight's show, we will be talking a lot about Hurricane Irma, of course, but the comfortable weekend ahead here. Use that to finish up those last-minute preparations. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much for that, Matt. And you talked about the local forecast. It looks good now. Things will obviously take a turn for the worse here in some parts of Florida as early as Sunday, really, and into Monday morning. But let's take a look at things in the British Virgin Islands. This is from Hurricane Irma just about a day or so ago. This was brought to us by, I forget the name, it was Briggs Soto as a Twitter username. You can see the power of that wind. And take a look at this picture, Sydney. This is how strong some of these winds are at the British Virgin Islands, going right through that tree.
Yes, and these places trying to withstand, the structures trying to withstand in this type of wind, it just isn't having it. Places like Barbuda has 95% destruction by Irma, and they arguably got the worst of this storm along with the British Virgin Islands.
Yes, and now the tropical storm warning from Jose is also in that area too. So it's like a 1-2 punch, and they cannot, catch a break, unfortunately, with many of this. So that just shows us all that we can't let our guard down.
Yeah, and now that Jose is a Category 4, they are really going to see the effects of this second hurricane as well.
And this is not only Hurricane 4 for Jose, but also Irma too. So we're going to watch both of these forecasts and get right to now student meteorologist Jordan Frazier. He's got to look at the local forecast for us here a little bit closer to home. Jordan.
Thanks, Tevin and Sydney. Right now, we're going to start talking about our current conditions right now. Mostly cloudy skies. Those clouds are starting to kick into our region, but this is definitely the calm before the storm. Cooler temperatures than what we normally expect right now, 84 degrees. That dew point and humidity are sitting a little bit low, but notice that wind northeast at about 7 miles per hour. So it is coming directly from the north, and it will start to begin to rotate along with the storm as it starts to encroach in our area. Current temperatures right now around the Big Bend, 84 degrees in Tallahassee, 84 in Monticello. A little bit warmer down by the coast, 89 in St. Mark's and 88 down in Carabel, and that is just due to them being closer to the water. Current winds right now, you can start to notice that counterclockwise rotation beginning to become a little bit more prevalent as the storm is getting closer to our area. 12 miles per hour out of Valdosta, 13 in Perry, and 12 in Thomasville. And those winds will expect to increase as we go into the next coming days. Even before we even start to get some of the outer bands, you will start to notice those breezy conditions. Relative humidity dropped significantly from a few days ago, and that is due to a cold front that passed over us. And that is also why it feels a little bit nicer outside, even though it is still just as hot. Local radar, not much to talk about here at all. Again, it is the calm before the storm. Tonight, however, will be one of your better nights if you want to head out at all. for a restaurant, burger, anything of that kind anything of that type. 69 degrees tonight. Calm night, clear skies, and those winds will again start to pick up east-northeast at about 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast, clear and sunny, 86 degrees. Clean up the lawn. Be sure to take anything you have outside, especially on your patio, your apartment complex. It could even be something as simple as a doormat. Be sure to take those in because anything that is outside will become flying debris and could injure either yourself or your neighbors or even any personal belongings along with that. Winds again picking up northeast 15 miles per hour going into tomorrow. Here's the 5-day forecast. Saturday, Sunday looking nice. Those temperatures drop off. Monday, that's the big picture. It's going to be when Irma will hit our region. We are not entirely sure if we will experience hurricane force winds, but definitely tropical storm force winds are a very high possibility. And remember, that knocked out our power for quite some time with Hermine with those tropical storm force winds. So we've got 60% chance of rain and those temperatures again dropping significantly. Heading into your next week, it should look pretty nice as we even start to see some 50s peeking into the lows by your Tuesday morning. Matt is going to take it out now with a look at our southeast.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan. I just want to comment on those 50s for a second because that's really going to be nice. Potentially, if we end up losing power here, you might be able to crack the windows at night and sleep rather comfortably. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm not looking forward to the power going out, but maybe the cooler temperatures to kind of give us a respite from that. Here's our southeast right now. Across the southeast, we got a lot of sun, a lot of sunshine. Windy conditions, of course, in South Florida as the outer fringes of Irma start to approach, but really a lot of sunshine. As I stated before, in our area, kind of have a dry air wedge sitting over top of us. That's pretty much over the entire southeast, especially once that cold front wrapped through. Those conditions are still hanging with us. And a lot of these areas, even farther north of Florida, areas where power could go out should still be rather cool at night, thanks to that early winter season trough. Now, we saw the cold front move through and a lot of cool temperatures. It also knocked down our dew point a little bit, kind of how it feels outside. In the 60s finally here in Tallahassee. It was even lower than that yesterday. And luckily 54, 40s up even farther north. That'll make it feel very nice outside, but unfortunately our friends in South Florida, mid to upper 70 dew points, that's not going to feel great at all, especially with the heat as well. Satellite and radar, we can start to see where that front kind of stalled out right over the state. This is not going to have any impact on the potential track of Irma. Irma is going to come right up and through that front. However, there could be some dynamical interactions with it later on down the line that could weaken it as it starts to approach northern Florida. Of course, being over land will also weaken it as well. Here, though, locally, we're not seeing any of the rain. Right around Irma, we're seeing the winds right off the Atlantic coast, a little bit further from the north in Montgomery. Tupelo, same thing. We're seeing winds light and variable as you get farther down the state, and that's exactly what we're seeing, especially with the cold front that just passed through, kind of the northerly flow going on. Tonight's forecast across the south and east looks pretty nice in states north of Florida, even here in the Panhandle. Could see some areas that are rather comfortable tonight, but a warm one in South Florida. Tomorrow, though, going to be another nice day out. Use it, as we mentioned before, get the preparations done, enjoy the sunshine while you can because it will probably not be sticking around for several days. But now we're going to send it back to myself and Jordan. We're going to talk at the desk about the continuing issues that we're seeing from Hurricane Irma as in terms of closures and everything that is affected here as well as in other parts of Florida.
Yes, a lot of our schools actually, I don't know if you heard Governor Scott yesterday, he actually said all public universities as well as K through 12 schools will be closed today and on Monday as well.
And FSU actually released information that we will be closed as well as TCC on Tuesday. And this is something unprecedented. I don't think, I've lived in Florida 22 years, I've never heard of every school in the state closing.
No, not even when we had the last Category 4 hurricane that hit, Hurricane Charlie. It still did not, it was a very fast-moving storm though, but this one is on a much bigger scale. It's much larger than what we've ever seen before. And many, also not just schools, but even airports around all of Florida have begun to close as well.
Yeah, we saw Key West close yesterday. Miami International is going to be closing once those winds get above 35 miles per hour. Fort Lauderdale is closing tonight. Fort Myers, they're going to be closing as well. Pretty much all, and Orlando too, everywhere this event.
Yes, Disney, Universal as well. Like, we haven't heard those closed since Hurricane Matthew hit just last year.
And Disney will be closed for 2 days, but hotels are open, so if you are going there to seek refuge in a hotel, if there are availabilities, you can still do that. But right now, we're going to send it out to Tevin for a look at the national forecast.
All right, thank you so much for that, Matt and Jordan. So let's take the eyes off of Irma and focus on the rest of the country a little bit, because we do have some good news across the rest of the country. We had a front that cleared through, bringing some fantastic early hints of fall for parts of the south and central United States. 85 today in Dallas and San Antonio right now. Look at Memphis, Tennessee at 79 degrees, 84 for Denver and Kansas City, and 87 degrees for Albuquerque, New Mexico right now. We do have a tale of two halves, or a tale of two parts of the country. Of course, the hurricane watches and warnings down here for the southeastern parts of the United States, and some tropical storm watches as well. If we could go ahead and query some of those and just see what we have here in the we'll start over here with the New Orleans area, or east of the New Orleans area. So tropical storm warnings for some parts of the northeast Gulf County, and this goes until Friday at 11:15. So 11:15 tonight, and then down near Miami, Margaret, if we could see what that says. That's going to be the hurricane watches and warnings that goes with Hurricane Irma. But also here in the parts of the northern United States, of Billings, Montana, they're seeing some red flag warnings right now, and the green area, some flash flood watches. So a lot going on across the United States. Some of that because of dry weather, others due to lots of rainfall, massive amounts of rainfall. We can see that front that cleared through, cleared all the way down to some parts of Gainesville, what it looks like, and some storms starting to ignite along that front. But I mean, man, you talk about behind it. You felt it today. Some really nice weather to talk about. Do have a few spotty showers here in the Nevada area and Phoenix area as well, but not too severe right now. As far as airport delays go, we do have a 71-minute delay for Las Vegas. Look at Miami, red 93-1. I'm not even sure what that means, but I can tell you because of Hurricane Irma, it's likely that that will remain red for a good portion of this weekend and probably into early parts of next week, maybe even through all of next week as well. Tonight's forecasting some cool temperatures, 61 for Kansas City and Memphis, 65 for Dallas and San Antonio, 62 for Billings, and 60 for Denver. And with that, let's take a look at the southeast parts of the United States right now with student meteorologist Sydney Welch.
Thank you so much, Tevin, for giving us such a good look on our entire big picture. But now zooming back into our local region, we are noticing, wow, these full suns that are coming from what we did have a front pass over and leaving behind dry air behind it and beautiful conditions. As for Tallahassee, there are some clouds lingering, but earlier today we did see that beautiful sky in the area. Now, dew points around, wow, not even in the 70s. This is the first time I've seen this in a few weeks now. So 69 in Tallahassee, 69 in Panama City, and look, 62 in Dothan, Alabama. So those are awesome dew points compared to what we're used to and what we have been seeing throughout the summer. Now, the 70s is about the average of what we see, which is oppressive. And right now we are seeing those moderate dew points. So we really can't complain about this calm streak we're seeing before things shake up a little bit more into next week. Now, Tallahassee, looking at that radar, you just see some upper level clouds. You don't really see much rain or anything of that nature. Off of the east coast of Jacksonville, we are seeing some storms in those areas. Now, current winds, notice that there is a clockwise motion going on with these winds. There is a high pressure pushing its way down on our area, and that is why those dew points are in the 60s. So this is something that we could get used to a little bit as fall rolls in the near future. Now, we are going to take a look at watches and warnings on a more serious note. Now, south of Gainesville, there is a hurricane watch, and as for off the coasts to the east of our area, the red indicates, and also to the west of Florida indicates a hurricane watch as well, or a tropical storm watch, I'm sorry, as well. Now, as we look into tonight's forecast, it is going to be a calm night. This is going to be one of the last nights that we are going to see little cloud cover and light winds at 10 miles an hour. So Tallahassee sitting at 69 tonight, perfect night to go for a walk. At St. Mark's as well, The trend of this is the mid to high 60s down there in Apalachicola and Carabel. We are noticing 70-degree temperatures, which still is nothing to complain about. Now, tomorrow's forecast, 86 in Tallahassee. Tomorrow's the day that you're going to want to spend cleaning up your lawn and getting any last-minute preparations for Irma in order. Now, cleaning up the lawn is very important because objects can fly and hurt other people. So definitely get everything together in your lawn. Now, the week ahead, we are going to be noticing Saturday and Sunday that light cloud cover. Monday, that is the anticipated date of Irma, and making our way into the rest of the week, we will see those 80s throughout the rest of the week. Lows dipping down into the high 50s. Now, we are going to take it over to Tevin with a look at the desk.
All right, thank you so much for that, Sydney. Now, yeah, we want to talk about the local impacts of Irma and what it can do or bring out the best in people. As you see in this video right here, this is from the City of Tallahassee and Proof Brewing Company. People helping people. You talk about being out of water this time of year because of Irma, and the shelves are wiped clean. Well, Proof Brewing Company doing their part to help out. You can take a growler to Proof Brewing Company and they will fill it with water. And I'm sure if you're really nice, they might even bring you can bring a few jugs of your own by, and they will fill that for you at their company or at their business. So thanks to those guys for doing that. Fantastic job for that company, helping everyone out and stepping up where the need is. And speaking of stepping up, on Friday, the Capital Area chapter of the American Red Cross in Leon County announced some shelters that are already opening, and not only for people here, but anyone coming from out of town to be in a better position that they might need. Northwoods Baptist Church at Capitol Circle Northwest is currently open, and they are pet friendly. The standalone shelter needs has been established beginning at 7 a.m. on Saturday to September 9th. Tomorrow, so they are open. And then Oak Ridge Elementary is also open. And one thing that Governor Rick Scott also mentioned was GasBuddy.com. You've heard him talk about that a lot. If you're out of gas, check GasBuddy.com. They have a current list of what's open and how much gas prices are right now. There are a few stations left in Tallahassee with some gas, so just head over to GasBuddy.com for that. All right, we'll look at tropics now. Let's head back out to the wall with student meteorology, Sydney Welch.
Thank you so much, Tevin. Now, if you haven't filled up your car with gas yet, places are running out of gas, so I would check out GasBuddy.com to see if any gas stations near you have gas available. Now, we are going to be taking a look at our tropical update, which this is really where we are going to stress the what's going to happen with in the oncoming days. Now, Irma and Jose are both major hurricanes. Irma is a direct threat to the United States. As for Jose, no direct threat to the United States now, and in the future, we don't believe that he will threaten the United States. As for Katia, Category 2 hurricane in the Atlantic Basin near Mexico. Now, 3 tropical storms. This is the first one. As you can see, Hurricane Irma, about a 500-foot in diameter, making its way south of the Bahamas and north of Cuba, affecting both areas, as you can see in this radar loop. Now, Irma is expected to be taking a turn and making its way up the west coast and potentially up the west coast of Miami. The cone does stretch to the east coast, so that is not ruled out as we speak. 155-mile-an-hour winds for Irma. As for Jose, which this is Irma, as for Jose down there, 150-mile-an-hour winds and will be affecting the Leeward Islands within the next few days. Now, Jose is also a Category 4 storm and is expected to make landfall on the Leeward Islands and then go into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, as for our third storm, Katia, this is Katia making its way west onto Veracruz, Mexico. Now, the Category 2 storm did intensify quite rapidly within the past few days, but is expected to make landfall and lose much of its power. Now, we are going to be taking it back over to the lab with Matt.
Thank you very much, Sydney. We wanted to do a little size comparison for you here because we talk about the cone a lot and these model runs and all this different stuff, but we're at part of the game now where it doesn't matter. This storm is massive, and what we wanted to do is compare Hurricane Andrew, which is right here, to Hurricane Irma. I mean, the size is massive. You could fit a few Hurricane Andrews inside of Hurricane Irma. So this wind field that we're talking about is expanding, and it's currently continuing to expand. What we wanted to do is kind of do a little juxtaposing here. I have this pen, and I stick it right over the storm, the center of the storm, almost like a cross-section. And that's about how far out those tropical storm force winds go. Of course, you get closer to the center, and they get stronger and more damaging. Let's say the center comes up like this. We're right over the entire state of Florida, from coast to coast, over the waters, if several tens of miles out over the waters on either side. Continuing to move up the coast, and you're starting to see places like us here in Tallahassee, over in Live Oak, and further into Gainesville, Jacksonville. All across the state is going to feel this storm. It is a massive storm, and that is why we are hitting home the threats of storm surge, wind damage, power outages, everything that you could see from this storm. It is certainly a massive one at that. So at this point now, I believe we're going to be taking it over to Jordan, and he'll be talking a little bit more about what type of Florida weather forecasting we could see over the next few days due to Irma. Jordan?
Thanks so much, Matt. This is especially something we want to cover the entire state about because this storm is so massive, it will cover the entire state. Current conditions right now throughout all of Florida, 84 up here in Tallahassee, very cloudy skies, as a matter of fact, for much of the northern parts. Jacksonville, mostly cloudy, 80 degrees. Orlando actually experiencing a few showers, 78 right now. 86 is going to be out in Tampa. As you head farther south, it's actually quite warm, 88 in West Palm Beach and 91 down there in Key West. So nice weather for now. However, I do not recommend staying there for too much longer. Current relative humidity, notice how Florida is the only state here covered with some green, meaning that it is humid here. It is Florida though, folks. 61% humidity in Tallahassee, 97 in Orlando, and that is due to the showers they are experiencing right now. 73 in West Palm Beach and 60 in Miami. Heat index, once you add the humidity with the current temperatures, you get the heat index, and that's what it feels like outside. So it feels a little sticky down south, especially in West Palm Beach. 101 degrees right over there, 100 degrees in Miami, and Key West, 106 degrees is what it feels like right out there. Here's your upper level water vapor imagery. Green represents the very moist air, and orange represents that very dry air. Notice when that front came through earlier, we have a lot of that drier air reaching our region. But notice as you head farther and farther south, there's Irma right there with all that moisture that is going to bring into our area. Tonight, it is going to be quite cool, so enjoy the cool weather while you can. 68 here in Tallahassee, 67 Pensacola, and 71 in Jacksonville. But as normal this time of year, you do expect it to get warmer as you head farther south. Fort Myers, 78 and 82 as you head into Miami. Tomorrow, storms is going to be the big part of the story once those outer bands start to reach our area from Irma churning up as it heads closer to our region. 91 in Fort Myers, 94 in Tampa, 88 in Orlando, and just the Panhandle is going to be the one experiencing some clear skies and some nicer weather. 88 in Tallahassee and 85 in Pensacola as we head into those clearer streets. But for now, we are going to take it over to Tevin. He's going to have a little bit more information about locally here in Tallahassee, what we're going to experience over these next coming days.
All right, thank you so much for that, Jordan. So we've talked about Irma a lot. We'll talk about the local forecast just to wrap things up and put everything into perspective and talk about what you can expect over the next day or so, because I know it's a lot of information. So we'll start with the almanac. Today's high 87. Average this time of year is 90 degrees, so we're well below average, and we will likely be below average over the next few days because of the cloud coverage that's coming in from Hurricane Irma. Of course, if you remember this time last year, we were talking about Hurricane Hermine. So it seems like it's this Florida occurrence. I know that I was here for that one too. Current temperatures right now throughout the rest of the Big Bend area. 89 for St. Mark's and 84 for Monticello, 86 up in Thomasville. Look at the dew points right now. They are low, folks, at least for some parts of the northern portions of the Big Bend. 69 for Tallahassee, 68 for Bainbridge and Quincy. Down along the coast, though, a little bit more humid with those dew points in the lower to mid-70s near Apalachicola. And let's break that down for you and show you what that means. If you're in that 70-degree range, that is oppressive. So that's the air you can wear, certainly for those folks along the coast. Moderate temperatures or moderate dew points with dew points in the 60s to 69 degrees. So that's where we'll be today, likely going back up tomorrow. But then as Hurricane Irma gets here, we can expect those dew points to obviously go up with the moisture content that's in the air. The satellite and radar right now showing you a clear picture or clear skies out there. Maybe some clouds starting to build in a little bit. It looks like we've got some sort of sea breeze convection, or no, those storms rather igniting along that cold front that kind of just stalled out a little bit near Orlando. They've already talked about Disney World closing, which doesn't happen often, folks, but it's happening this weekend due to Hurricane Irma. But we do have some watches and warnings to talk about as well near Panama City, up to along Apalachicola and in the coast, some small craft advisories, and then down in, it looks like the fuchsia color hurricane watches, and then down south of Tampa, hurricane warnings in red. Tonight's forecast, 68 for Monticello, 69 degrees for St. Mark's. It will be a calm night here in Tallahassee. Look at that, winds coming out of the east-northeast at about 10 miles an hour. The low tonight, 69 degrees. It's going to feel fantastic. A great night to get out and make out some last-minute plans. Whatever you have to do to get ready for the influx of people, and then obviously the influx in severe weather that we're going to see. 85 tomorrow for St. Mark's and 86 for Tallahassee, 84 for Monticello. Quincy going to be at about 84 degrees. Bainbridge will be there as well. Clean up the lawn is what the graphic says, and I will certainly say that and reiterate that because you do not want random lawn chairs or anything flying around with the winds. Expect it to be around 70 miles an hour Monday as Hurricane Irma makes its way near the Big Bend area. We're talking about a 60% chance that has gone up since this graphic was made. The National Weather Service saying hurricane conditions are possible. Earlier they were just saying tropical storm force winds were expected. So we will certainly watch this for you here at FSU Weather. Temperatures expected to be around 76 degrees. Looks like Tuesday and Wednesday we start to dry out with some nice weather temperatures in the lower to mid 80s. And with that, let's go ahead and send things back to the desk with Matt and Jordan.
Well, thank you, Tevin. This is our last show this week, and you know, on a bit of a somber note, we're ending the week, and many parts of Florida could be changed forever.
Yes, this is one of the most devastating hurricanes that we could possibly experience, and the damage could be very catastrophic, especially for southern Florida once this makes landfall.
Yeah, we do know a lot of people here have family from all parts of Florida. We have a lot of people here that are here, and you want to know what's going to happen, and we don't know the exact impacts yet to Tallahassee.
No, we have to wait for the storm to make that initial turn towards Florida before we have the exact idea of where it's going to make landfall. But nonetheless, this storm is so big that the amount of size of this can encompass the entire state. So we could see devastating conditions throughout most of Florida.
Yeah, any shift west, shift right, you know, it'll still bring those conditions. This weekend, though, we will be here on social media as well as in the studio. Facebook.com/FSU Weather, Twitter.com/FSU Weather, and you can watch us anytime. We're actually YouTube.com/FSU Weather. We've got a live stream there.
Yes, you could also watch any of our old shows. If you want to go back a year when we talked about Hermine, we go back on a live stream for that. But for now, student meteorologist Jordan Frazier.
I'm Matt Reagan. Good luck, everyone.